Joining me now is Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and VP for Global Policy and Public Affairs at the National Peace Corps Association. Joel, thanks for coming on the show. Let's start with this trade deal. What do we know about it, and why is it significant?
Kristen, it's great to be with you. This trade deal, this Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, is really about putting back structure to the relationship between the United States and our Asian allies and partners on economics, on investment, on trade that basically has gone fallow for the last several years when Donald Trump pulled out of the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So we don't have a regional framework to rely on. That's now changed. And so we're seeing the majority of the world's population in this framework. We're seeing about 60% of global GDP represented in this framework. And we're seeing America engaging with our allies in an effort that's not just about economics, but it's also about strategy. And it's about ensuring that these allies understand that we're there for them. We're backing them up. We're going to have robust trade relations. And China is not in that club. And this is to help ensure that they are working closely with us and see us as a bulwark, as a backbone for their long-term security and prosperity.
Joel, why is Taiwan, a small island off the coast of mainland China, so important to both U.S. and Chinese interests?
It's a great question. Look, China views Taiwan as part of its own, as a breakaway state. I would say republic, but that's how the Taiwanese, that's how they want to refer to themselves. And we have a policy that is one China policy, saying that, yes, we recognize that that's what China states, but we also support Taiwan and its ability to have a democracy and an open economy. We provide defense systems and support to China. To Taiwan. And this is a longstanding part of a sort of duality of our policy. It's a bit opaque in terms of what will happen next. We are looking at China and saying, don't invade, don't conduct military activities. They do saber rattle from time to time. And so we are putting a strong foot forward and saying that China, do not think about doing this. But at the same time, we're not calling for an independent Taiwan and two states.
So, of course, China, the world's second biggest economy, a key trading partner, not with just the U.S., but every other country around the world. These comments from the president that he would be prepared to intervene militarily if China were to invade. Is there any risk here of worsening the economic relationship, Joel, between the U.S. and China?
Yeah, Kristen, I don't think that that's really going to come to pass. And in fact, some of the worst case predictions after the invasion of Ukraine by Russia were that Russia would partner with China more closely and China would backfill to Russia. We haven't seen that take place. China, despite the aggressive nature they have in the region and the competition with the United States, they are very pragmatic at a very operational level. And they are not doing things to provoke further confrontation directly with the United States. That said, China has the long view. They are looking out 10, 15 years down the road. There's some predictions that they may be building a nuclear capacity of 1,000 deployed nuclear warheads potentially. And so they are looking over the long run. But in the near term, certainly, this is not a high risk for war. And we even saw the defense secretary pull back on the president's comments to say that is not the goal here. The goal here is to ensure that China sees us as a competition and that we are standing by our allies in that competition and isolating China economically at the same time by building up stronger partnerships with India, Japan, South Korea, and the rest who have joined into this very, very exciting framework.
Joel, nearly a year and a half into Biden's presidency, U.S. officials are still torn on the best path forward for these trade tariffs that former President Trump implemented while he was in office. Why is it so challenging to determine the best path in regards to that?
You know, in my engagements with the administration talking about this, they do see these tariffs as opportunities for leverage, as opportunities to get back into some kind of trade arrangements with China that are better than what they were before. They do understand and they're cognizant of the pain that causes at home. Tariffs are not instruments that are to be taken lightly. They have impacts here at home. They certainly have impacts on global trade. And so right now we're in a bit of a stasis politically as well, domestically, and we have to be honest about that. The TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade agreement, essentially could not get through Congress under President Obama, and President Trump pulled it back. And we don't see a major clamoring amongst the Congress and in the political environment for a renewed trade agreement. So in the meantime, the pressure is still on in these negotiations. This new framework is in place, and continued engagements bilaterally are going to take place to try to claw back some of the protectionism and some of the problems that we face in our bilateral trade relationship with China.
As President Biden continues his visit in Asia, Joel, are you confident that this new bloc with the president enlisting a dozen countries to come together to fend off China's dominance in the region, can it be successful?
Well, there's a major desire in Asia for this kind of an initiative. And one of the positive outcomes, we have to look for silver linings in this. And that's what I'm getting at in the case of the war that we're witnessing between Russia and Ukraine, is the revitalization of international alliances, where the United States, working with our allies and our partners in Europe, are showing strong determination. The Asian democracies and our allies are looking at that as a sign that the United States wants to reengage globally, and that it's in America's interest and it's in their interest to have that relationship grow and prosper. And so, yes, this framework, this is not a simple thing to pull off. We're seeing President Biden engage aggressively diplomatically around the world, and pulling this together is a coup for President Biden. And it's a new platform for the United States and these countries to engage going forward in the region.
All right, Joel Rubin, VP of Global Policy and Public Affairs at the National Peace Corps Association. Joel, thank you.